Hey explorers, today we've got an epic showdown on our hands, the ultimate face-off of the best day circuit hike in the Dolomites. In one corner, we have the heavyweight champ of hiking, Tre Cime de 𝗷𝗶𝗶, the most iconic trail that every adventurer dreams of. And in the other corner, the underdog with a lot of epic punch, the Sassolungo group loop, a lesser known trail that might surprise you. Both hikes are packed with jaw-dropping views, challenging terrain in their own unique appeal, but which truly deserves the crown? I'm breaking it all down for you. Scenery, difficulty, the overall experience, and yes, even the crowds. So by the end of this, you'll know exactly which circuit trail reigns supreme for your next adventure. It's the ultimate Dolomites face-off. Who's gonna get the title of the ultimate circuit hike? Let's find out. All right, before we dive into the details of each hike, let's talk about how this showdown is going to go down. I'm going to break down both Tre Cime and Sassolungo with the good, the bad, and everything in between. Think of this as a no-holds-barred comparison, where we'll look at the pros, the epic views, the accessibility, and the cons, like crowded trails and long waits at rifugios. And by the end of it all, you'll know exactly which trail will give you the best adventure based on what you're looking for. So whether you're here for epic and iconic landscapes, or peaceful solitude, or the best post-hike pasta, I've got you covered. First up, Tre Cime de 𝗷𝗶𝗶. You've probably seen this one on postcards, travel guides, or social media, and for good reason. It's the iconic Dolomite hike. This 7-mile circuit with just under 2,000 feet of elevation gain offers some of the most breathtaking, dramatic views in the region. These 3 towering limestone peaks and rugged landscapes are unforgettable. So let's start with pro number 1, iconic Dolomite location. Let's start with the obvious. Tre Cime is a location if you want to say you've hiked in one of the most famous spots in the Dolomite. The sheer grandeur of these 3 peaks grouped together is unlike anything else. It's no wonder this hike is on so many bucket lists. These mountains have a presence, they're majestic, they're powerful, and no matter how many times you see them in photos, nothing compares to standing there in person and looking up at these giants. It's the kind of place that makes you stop in your tracks and you get that I'm on another planet kind of vibe. Pro number 2, epic views from every angle. The views on this hike are unbeatable. As you make your way around the circuit, you'll constantly find yourself stopping to take it all in. You get this full 360-degree experience, and the higher you climb and the further you go, the better the scenery. The peaks rise like these jagged teeth out of the earth, and the landscape stretches around you for miles. Also, the trails are well marked, so whether you're on the lower path or taking the more adventurous higher road to get that iconic view of Tre Cime, which I recommend for a quieter and more epic option, so long as you're sure-footed, the views keep getting better the further you go. And then there's pro number 3, Refugio Locatelli, food with a view. This refugio is practically a destination in itself, sitting right at the perfect vantage point where you can enjoy those iconic views of Tre Cime while refueling with some of the best food you'll find on a hike. Imagine digging into a plate of bolognese, or sipping a cappuccino, or doing both while gazing out at one of the most breathtaking mountain landscapes on Earth. Pro number 4, it's close to Cortina. Another bonus for Tre Cime is its location. If you're staying near Cortina 𝗵𝗶𝗀, you're in the perfect spot for an early start to this hike. Since Tre Cime is on the eastern side of this region, it's much easier to reach from here, so you're already cutting down on so much travel time. But with all of this epicness, also comes a few challenges. Con number 1, the crowds. Tre Cime is as famous as it gets, which means everyone, and I mean everyone, wants to hike here. If you're coming in peak season, be prepared to share the trail with hundreds of other hikers. It's not unusual to have people on your heels or passing by constantly, and it can feel a little bit more like a parade than a peaceful hike. Even when we went in September, it was busy. It's a double-edged sword. You're hiking one of the most beautiful places in the world, but so is everyone else. Con number 2, limited parking. We need to talk about the parking, because if you're planning to drive up, finding a spot can be a serious challenge. Parking at Tre Cime is limited, and once those spots are gone, they're gone for hours, which is why I recommend getting there early, like sunrise kind of early. It's not just a suggestion, it's essential. Con number 3, hard to find solitude. Let's be honest, when you're hiking in a place like Tre Cime, you want those moments of solitude where it's just you, the mountains, the sound of nature. But because Tre Cime is so popular, it can be hard to get those quiet moments, especially in the first half of the circuit. You're constantly surrounded by people and that can take away from the magic, so you have to hike past Refugio Locatelli to get that quieter vibe. And you need to be strategic on when you hike and also taking those less traveled paths. Con number 4, long lines at the Refugio. As amazing as Refugio Locatelli is, there's no avoiding the fact that it's crowded. You see a theme here? With such a prime location, everyone wants to stop there for a meal, which means long lines and waiting for food. If you're hungry, tired, and ready to sit down for a meal, you might have to wait a bit longer than you'd like, and depending on the time of day, you might even have trouble finding a view. Another thing to keep in mind, the most iconic views of Tre Cime, those postcard perfect shots of the 3 peaks, don't come right at the beginning. You've got to work for them. The best views are about halfway through the loop. Now that could be a pro if you don't care about hiking the full loop if you're short on time. But by not doing the full circuit, you're going to miss the full experience and also the quieter experience. The entire trail is beautiful, but you need to stick with it at least midway point to get the absolute best of what Tre Cime has to offer. So now that we've talked about the iconic contender in this competition, let's talk about Sassolungo, the hidden gem, or what I like to think of as the underrated challenger. While the Sassolungo group loop may not be as instantly recognizable as Tre Cime, don't let that fool you. This 10-mile circuit hike with 3,500 feet of elevation gain offers equally stunning views, but with a bit more solitude and variety. Actually, a lot more solitude. You're going to circle the entire Sassolungo massif, meaning the landscape constantly changes from lush meadows, including epic views of Alpe d'Huez, also known as 𝗪𝗏, and shaded forests to rocky high-altitude terrain. One of the things I love about the Sassolungo loop is the feeling of discovery around every corner. It's so much quieter than Tre Cime, so you feel so much more connected to the mountains and less like you're following a tourist parade. And there are plenty of refugios along the way, so you won't go hungry, but the trail feels more like a hidden gem. So pro number 1 are epic views of 3 peaks. Like Tre Cime, Sassolungo boasts an unforgettable trio of peaks, but the difference, you don't have to wait halfway through the hike to see them. From the moment you step onto the trail, you're greeted with massive jagged peaks that dominate the skyline, giving you a wow factor right out of the gate. You don't have to earn the view, it's there waiting for you. Pro number 2, fewer people, more solitude. Here's where Sassolungo really shines, the lack of crowds. Compared to the theme park feel of Tre Cime, Sassolungo offers a much more peaceful experience. Sure, you're going to see other hikers, but you're not going to feel like you're part of a mass procession. There are moments on this trail where it's literally just you, the mountains, and the sound of your boots on the ground. It feels like a true adventure. No fighting for space, no endless lines at refugios, just wide open trails, and stunning views that you can actually enjoy in solitude. Pro number 3, easy access. You can take a bus here. One of the best things about Sassolungo is how easy it is to get there. Personally, I drove, but if you don't feel like the hassle of parking, you can take a bus straight to Hotel Paso Sella, which sits right at the base of the peaks. It's super convenient, saves you the headache of battling for parking spots, also at the base of the coffin lift, and plus starting your hike right from the hotel adds a touch of luxury. Grab a cappuccino before you hit the trail, or even finish your hike with a meal at the hotel while still soaking in those epic views. Pro number 4, flexibility in your route. Another big advantage here is you can go either clockwise or counterclockwise, which is a huge advantage depending upon the type of experience you want. Personally, I went counterclockwise, and if you're up for the full circuit, that's a great way to go. It's longer but totally worth it. And technically, you can do this with Tre Cime too, but the refugios are only along the first half of the loop. Sassolungo, on the other hand, if you're short on time or just looking for a taste of the peaks, you can do a shorter version of the loop and still hit an amazing refugio in each direction. Refugio 𝗕𝗄𝗄 if you go counterclockwise, and Refugio Frederic August if you go clockwise, which personally, if you're going to choose which way to go, just go to Refugio August. It's amazing. And either way, you're going to get a full experience, but not necessarily having to commit to a full day of hiking. But it's not all perfect. Let's talk about the cons too. Con number 1, small parking lots and pricey fees. While Sassolungo doesn't get the same crowds as Tre Cime, the parking situation can still be a bit of a hassle. The parking lots there are small, especially near Hotel Paso Sella, and they come with a pretty hefty price tag because of the convenience. So if you're driving up, be prepared to pay for that convenience and arrive early if you want to snag a spot. It's not as chaotic as Tre Cime, but it's something to keep in mind when planning your day. Con number 2, it's a longer circuit hike. Now, this might be a pro or a con for you, depending upon what you're looking for. The Sassolungo circuit's longer than Tre Cime with almost double the elevation gain, which means more time on the trail and more of a burn on the legs, which I love. And if you're someone who loves longer hikes and soaking in every minute, this is a huge bonus. But if you're looking for a quick adventure, the length might feel a bit daunting. Keep in mind though, remember you can always opt for a shorter version of the loop by just going one way or the other to the first refugio, so there's a lot of flexibility. Con number 3, it's not Tre Cime. Let's face it, Sassolungo doesn't carry the same iconic status. While it's every bit as stunning, if not more so in some ways, it just doesn't have the same name recognition. So if you're someone who wants to check off the most famous hikes in the Dolomites, Tre Cime can still feel like a bigger trophy. But if you're after a more relaxed, less crowded experience, Sassolungo could be the perfect alternative. By now you've seen the pros and cons of both Tre Cime and Sassolungo, but which one is truly the best? That's up to you to decide. Do you want the bragging rights of having tackled the most famous trail, or are you after an epic adventure without the tourist hordes? For me, the winner is ding 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 Sassolungo, because I'll choose the trail less traveled any day. Now to help you make your own decision, I'm including links to the trail maps in the description and in the pinned comment at the top, as well as links to my full episodes on both of these day circuit hikes. If you want to get a more in-depth lay of the land, make sure you check those out. Now in the end, both Tre Cime and Sassolungo are spectacular hikes that showcase the best of the Dolomiti. Whatever you choose, and wherever your base camp is in this region of Italy, you're in for one seriously epic adventure. Thanks for joining me today, and let me know in the comments, are you team Tre Cime or are you team Sassolungo? And as always, keep exploring, stay curious, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's episode. Take a second and like this video, then subscribe to Explore This so you can get notified on when the next episodes come out, where we're going to be seeking adventure, tasting the world, and discovering everything. So excited to have you with me. I'm your host, Ahana, and I will see you next time.